Hello, everybody. Let's get this show on the road. Right. Before I forget, very important. So we're not going to continue staring at that. Give me a sec, boys and girls. I'll be with you in the chat in a second. Hello, Brad. I saw you there already. Hello, hello. Don't worry. We're going to get started in a second. Just want to get the chat situated so I can be with all of you. And come on. And it's running. All right. Piotr, hello. Joe, hello. Brad, Lucas, hello, everybody. Welcome to people who already joined. Why are we so slow today? Okay, people don't want to join, they're lost. No problem. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. So, should we? We can, right? Why wouldn't we? Since there's a lot of time ahead of us. Today, at least this one is not going to be too long of a bonjour pardon, bonjour indeed. This one is not going to be too long of a live because I have a session in about like 40 minutes. So this is going to be just a little bit sort of catching up and looking at what we should expect for the rest of the session. For now, rather bearish. We can see objectively what were we doing, where we're doing this temporary short-term channel inside the larger channel, so not a big deal. We kind of can shrug all this off. We might end up testing that 58.29 that we already recognize as a potential resistance and correcting back to the channel. We'll see. Of course, right now it's more bearish than bullish, at least on the 1 minute. Now we know it's sort of meaningless. What's more interesting, that this is a clear path to the downside that we're having right now, which is, as we said, is far more indicative of meeting this bottom rather shortly on the 1 minute, right? Let's go 30 minutes, quickly remove all the junk so we can see what's going on. Okay, let's just clean it up a little bit, maybe like that. That's gonna be better. And gone. Alrighty, perfect. Right, so 30 minutes, we can see this is a little bit more bullish. Well, this is bullish. Let's be honest. This is at face value. This is bullish. That means we might be potentially looking at, of course, retesting this and maybe even trying to make it to the resistance range, the channel. So that means 58.55 ish temporarily. Again, it depends on how long it will take us. How long will we be dragging our feet along this support, temporarily speaking. But let's see if this is something that's truly going to hold, or are we going to break down. We know that 30 minutes is not all that indicative in terms of what are we going to see until the end of the session. Really what we want to see and locate here is what the current session is going to give us, right? Is that at the end of the day, most of you are not day traders. That means most of you are not looking to capitalize on any scalping moves, and if you do, you do that with options. You don't necessarily look at these particular sort of time frames. You don't go that far. It becomes irrelevant as long as you follow the overarching trend. You can look quickly what's going in front of you and trade that. Makes sense. But the further out we're starting to look, we're going to be able to see what really the day is offering. The day, if we are objective, we are in oversold, right? And 45 minutes is already getting closer. We're starting to see again the amount of candlesticks will shrink that will require to finish the day. At face value, we know this. We spoke about this yesterday. Same thing we see on the 1 hour. So I'm just going to save the trouble because we know 1 hour is more convenient. It gives us less candlesticks on average just to get to the end of the day. And then the 45, so inherently we're going to see something a little bit better. Our actual moving average that is going to be created out of the data that we have out of these candlesticks is going to be a little bit smoother, better. So objectively, we are, like I said, or about to say, in 45, we're oversold, but we're bullish. Oversold, but bullish, again. So bearish, but mitigated by bullish momentum. So all in all, we can see what we're doing, and it kind of makes sense. We are testing this. This current situation does not give us anything other than continuing to test it, right? This is not a full-fledged breakdown, but once we overturn, but the problem is, as we know, testing overbought or oversold, once we complete a certain period of time, again, they can differ, but there is an average. And we do not have much longer to squeeze out of this bearish trend based upon the 1 hour time frame. But for that, to get a clearer idea of what we perceive with the market to do in a longer duration, right? Which means if we're going to be going for longer, doing whatever that is going to be well, not mitigating, but almost canceling out what you see on the smaller time frame, because what you see on the smaller time frame will be engulfed, okay, in the larger action. It makes sense. I hope you guys understand this. It was a bit of a tricky explanation, but it's not all that complicated. Think about it. If you have a 2-hour candlestick, right? How do you have that 2-hour candlestick? It's made out of 2 1-hour candlesticks that came about, that created a movement that made sense for this to be made, right? Or let's make it this way, actually, right? Just for it to be interesting. Good idea? Yeah? We're on the same page? Let's see what you guys... Murat, hello! Good to see you. Hello, brother. How are you? Yeah, now that is proper. That's exactly how we speak. Murat, good to see you, brother. I'm happy you're around. Brad, slicha. No need for slicha. You're good. You're the best. Number one friend and fan, if I can say that. Sounds not that. It doesn't sound as good as it is. You're a good friend, though. Okay, so we're starting to see a bit of a breakdown. Is that indicative of what we are seeing on a larger time frame? Hard to say. You see, let's be objective about this. The weekly is the bigger picture. So if we're trying to really understand what the day is about to give us, and the problem is this is not zoomed in enough, right? Well, not that it's not zoomed in enough. It is forced to show you it is a very accurate picture of the situation, yes. But because Brad's favorite word, granular, because you don't see the granularity, because you do not see, it engulfs all that granularity inside of a single candlestick. So it's very difficult to tell, particularly today's day and the rest of it, what it will bring about, because currently, if you're looking objectively, today's candlestick is bullish. But situation right now is being structured as rather bearish, and we definitely have enough time to overturn this entire thing and basically turn it to be red. So the daily, sadly, and that's where most people would go to look and try and figure out what the day is doing. It's not gonna be clear. It might be indicative in some form or way, but not necessarily clear in what you're gonna see throughout the day, because most of the people are following the price action as it changes throughout the day as we're going, right? So just looking at this will not give you a true picture of what we're expecting to see. So all of these almost become redundant to trying to establish what the day will show, just the day itself. For example, again, if we really want to look at this, if we have at least 5 hours ahead of us, that means 5 more candlesticks on the hourly. And if you look at this structure, 5 more candlesticks will easily already start spilling into the body of the stochastic RSI, giving us more bullish momentum. So if we're going to break down, we definitely have the momentum to move inside that wedge that we're getting here, right? Those who are more attentive notice there is a wedge, as always. Yeah? We have this wonderful thing going on. Yes, we have slippage. That's normal. Yeah, that's normal to have slippage. Yeah. Those of you who know. So this makes total sense. That gives us exactly the momentum we need to, as you see, we're on the bottom of the wedge, make our way all the way to the back, slip through the top, and potentially maybe even break down again from what we see on the even larger time frame, right? Because we know the 4 hour is rather bearish right now. You can see the forces are far apart. That gives us a clean movement to the downside, not as steep as I would expect it. That is rather tame, right? The steeper it is, the quicker, the faster it is. This is rather slow. If we're looking at angle-wise, why is it so small, and why am I able to recognize something that most don't? Because, well, again, experience, right? So you see this, it's not very steep. It's rather, I wouldn't call it shallow, but this is relatively to how it can look, almost pointing to the downside this way. This is not that steep. Could change, of course, and we could have convergence and divergence, but the separation, how far apart the forces are, indicates that this wave is going to be strong. The dominant forces red. Well, the D, well, really, the D is not bearish. The D is the loss of bullish momentum. Really, the acceleration that the plane has when its engines go out. If that makes any sense. All right. How did I do that? I just double click an empty area. If you double click this, it will let you go into the settings, right? If you double click on an empty territory, it will either blow up or minimize the other one. So you see what I'm doing? It's rather simple. You can do that too, boys and girls. Everybody can do it. All right. Now, let's go granular, I guess, since that's really where the interesting stuff is going on right now. But let's be frank, this is nothing. This is rather boring. I do think we're gonna have a lot more movement to the downside based upon the 4-hourly chart that we saw. Even though we have some interference and noise in between on the smaller time frames, remember that's going to be just engulfed within the larger movement. So I think we're going to be able to see a breakout of this channel and maybe structuring of this negative wedge in one form or another, testing it and eventually breaking down. Yes, so it's something that if you didn't notice, we're seeing these movements back and forth, and the only sort of outlier we had out of the whole thing is basically what could end up being this head of the Head and Shoulders, which ended up being slightly higher than expected. Sure, I thought we might see it this way. Now we're seeing it this way. Not a lot has changed. Again, it doesn't change the target as much as it changes the process that we take to make it, right? Let's clean it up so you guys can see things, right? Chat, what's up? Talk to me. What are we chatting about? What are we chatting about? Look at this. Look at this. I told you we're going to see 40-30 again. Look at this thing. Coincidence? If it's a coincidence, then pretty amazing. You have to admit it, right? Pretty coincidental. And you can clearly see the trend was breaking down, getting caught, testing. But now what was floor is now ceiling. Be attentive. That means we're retesting. Are we going to be successful? Are we going to get rejected? I think we're going to get rejected. But you do you. The trend right now is... The trend right now is bullish at face value on the 1 hour, but on the 4 hours, we're really oversold, and we're getting temporary relief in the form of this. Okay, temporary relief, not bullish trend. Temporary relief. Yeah? Yeah. That's that. You can see that's which is good. I mean, if you look at this, at the wick, this is phenomenal. This is pretty phenomenal. You gotta admit this is it just goes to show how much people are willing to buy the dip, if you will, blindly without thinking twice. Sure, that's cool. That's cool. It goes to show that the stock is actually strong. We are staying within the confines of the channel, so that shows strength, right? But yeah. Palantir nor pretty much anything else we really like cannot withstand the forces of the market. We said that, right? Oh, lo and behold, Greg was right. Retesting S1, right? You see? Who knew? Yeah, that's what we get. What is interesting? Apple's interesting. Apple is actually being on a tear. I mean, this is I'm impressed. I didn't see Apple retesting these highs again. This is pretty phenomenal, but nothing changes. It is to change what we have, to change the technicals that we have to have... I don't even know what needs to happen. I cannot come up with something that is rational to explain how the market can change its direction on a larger time frame. We've been building up towards this for the last year and a half. You really think a good day in the market, or even a good week, or even a good month can change that? Sorry, that's not how things work. Alrighty, smash the like, people. Brad, you are a legend. I forgot to say that. Boys and girls, smash the like and subscribe button. Like now, probably. Yeah, did you guys notice now that when people say, you know, press the like button and all that, it sort of lights up and does really cool things? I wonder if it lights up every time I say like. and then basically you have a disco party going down there going on. So, but yeah, seriously, yeah, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Ring the bell, that way you'll know and be notified when I'm going live. Otherwise, you'll not be notified, and you'll say, "Oh, Greg, I missed it," as if it's my fault somehow. Wink, wink. Michalis, what are we talking about? Mikhail. My father's Michael. Mikhail. Yeah. K, Agent K. Good to see you. Hello, 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 Mr. K. Good to see you there, boys. Or gentlemen, should I say? Gentlemen. What are we seeing with NVIDIA? Nothing all that special. I mean, we have to admit it's kinda, we said, everything is, right? Being objective about the ranges. So, and we're pretty much, we squeezed the living but Jesus to get there. So, yeah. Get ready, boys and girls. Get ready. Or ladies and gents. Leo. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you there. You're probably here from the get-go, I'm assuming. RG8125. I don't know who you are, but good to see you, and thank you for showing up. Bed Wars Gang. I don't think I've seen you here before. Hi, what do you think about SoFi SoundHound? We can look at that, Bed War Gang. Actually, we have looked at SoFi yesterday. Let's see if I can use this chart. Sure, why not? Let's just make it SoFi. We looked at SoFi yesterday. But I don't know how commonly you show up with how you hang out in my lives and you just show up and watch, and look, SoFi is a generational play. What do I mean generational play? You see, SoFi, like a lot of other services, like insurance, for example, right, where Lemonade broke the mold, if you will, right? Younger people do not like going into these headaches of banking. They don't understand it all that well. They feel like they're being misled and tripped over on purpose, and everybody's lying to them, and that kind of thing. More so, it feels prolonged, tedious, headache. They don't understand anything. It's not a pleasurable experience for them. On the other hand, they get things like SoFi. User-friendly application on the phone, no need to go anywhere, it works. The thing is, we, the more old school people, don't really like these sort of things, right? So that's why they don't really dominate. It is quite surprising and quite amazing that how we were able to get into the 10s, which, if to be objective, you're currently testing this, the 1010, or if you really want to know, of course, you have a psychological 10 perfectly, right? Let's just set it up so you can see it. Oop, there we go. Let's make it like that so we can see it kind of stand out. Right now it stands out, we can see it perfectly. You can see how the market respected it quite clearly, right? You can see that quite evident. Barring the fact that it respected, ignoring the fact that it did respect the 1010, just like I have on my chart, right? You need to know how to derive the right levels. Obviously we were stuck in between. You can see we broke through, but retesting all along, just breaking within the very narrow range. We call these ranges minefields because they're so narrow, and the price action oftentimes get caught in, even if it does end up, like, look at it this way. Does it matter? If you're a day trader, sure, you could capitalize on these, right? You can capitalize within this area anywhere pretty much. Obviously, would want to capitalize around there or around there. But if you're objective about this, what the price action did here is rallied into this range, and now it's stuck. Yes, it deviates, comes back. On the grand scheme of things, what you're doing, you're moving sideways within this very narrow range towards the other side of your overarching bigger range that is diagonal, that is a trend, which we see is within itself is a trend within a trend. So I'm sorry to say, what you are objectively seeing, you see what happened now? We've gone granular and we zoomed out. And when you zoom out, you realize, wait, we've gone all the way up, we overshot, which is normal, right? We do that all the time. You can see right there, right? That's how the market behaves, right? That's normal. We do tend to slip out of the channels, if you will. especially with such excessive momentum. But that is exactly the normal fallacy that people do. If the market is going up, then it's going to go up. No, the market is going up. It's not going to go up. In fact, it's far more prone to correct, right? So it could retain an uptrend by going downwards, going to the median, retesting various supports and resistances that we have, and even that. But the reality is, I'm sorry to say, this is based upon the current excessive market that we're having. Basically, it's being artificially pushed with the rest of the market. But what happens is when this overturns, look, it's not like we get there magically. Just to put in normal point of view, we didn't get here without using any of our momentum, right? Bad choice of time frame, sorry. In fact, we should probably go daily, right? You need to understand that to get here, you squeezed out the living bejesus like every other asset that we're having right now on the same phenomena, and we're seeing that overturning partition, and we have a gigantic gap to close right below us. So that is already very indicative that we're going to go down right into the channel, right into testing the various supports and resistances that we just pointed out. If you can see, same numbers, right? Same numbers, and bring us back to around what was ceiling. Sure, that will be a head, some form of a head and shoulders, right? Or a head and shoulders, depending where probably the high will be. Actually, that's the high. What we're gonna see in the formation. Of course, you obviously have usually a larger structure somewhere here. One of those will be your peak, depending on how much smoother we're gonna make it. For example, we're gonna make it this way, right? And just let me clean up this stuff so we can see better. Right? You can almost tell that I was able to recognize that we have this, and we have some form of a head and shoulders here. And, well, depending how it will behave, it might be an uptrend, the head and shoulders, or might be still corrective to the downside, having a very deep right shoulder. And we know, look at this. This is already horrible. Look what's going on here. You're running red hot at this point. So, but going back to what I said in the beginning, SoFi is a generational play. That means the more older people will go out of the cycle of things, the circulation of things, if you will. And whether it's out of the market itself, whether people will pass away, whether the market will go forward and develop, and the younger generation will grow up, and inherently they will be themselves advocating for such services, or maybe they will grow up and actually move over and start, banking with normal services, right? But I don't think SoFi has seen the end of it. If we're saying that SoFi is intertwined or coupled with the rest of the market, right, with the rest of the indices, and it's going up because of the artificial push we have on the indices, what do you think is going to happen when that artificial push turns over and the SoFi is still coupled in with these indices? Because that's what it is. It doesn't couple in and decouple whenever it feels like it, right? Now, this is not Bitcoin, boys and girls. Wink, wink, hint, right? So the way we have to perceive this, we have to, at least for the time being, is that objectively, if we're going to be testing back these bottoms of these channels that give us what we said would be the previous highs, right? Potentially, we're not saying potentially. They could be testing all sorts of things here, right? We said they have the channel give or take like that. That was the channel. So inherently, it gives us that ceiling that I used to mention before. So yeah, we overshot. Yes, we retested previous high to confirm that this is not our current sort of well, there are various reasons to why it happens. Oftentimes these things are manipulated and abused by the market makers. Why? Because they have the liquidity to do so. Big surprise, big reveal. We didn't know, right? I mean, come on. So yeah, that's that. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I mean, SoFi, it's look, it's not such a bad idea on the grand scheme of things, but I'm sorry to say that if you're objective about it, look, we're running super duper hot, and yeah, SoFi is destined to do what I want you to notice, and I mentioned this before. I want you to notice the similarity between the monthly. Remember, most of these assets are newer, right? So inherently the monthly on the SPX will be the one that will show you what you see on the weekly, right? It's just kind of a little bit behind, having its own, well, people, pardon me, you're basically seeing how people are being convinced into buying the dip, right? And yeah, look, there's nothing that can prevent this. Just like not, there is a force that can make this be very soft, sure, but even with all the softness in the world, you're still probably shooting towards the median instead of the bottom of the actual channel. So, but then again, I would argue that when the market will break, all this did for you is objectively, from my point of view, it did the very basic following thing, is that when the market will crash, if I'm correct, I'm not saying it will happen. Greg might be wrong. Again, remember, this is based on my analysis and all that. And if I'm correct, and the market will correct downwards significantly, instead of having the twos as potential lows for later, we're probably gonna be held by 4. And so that does mitigate the drop a little bit. That sort of makes things not as bad as they potentially would have been for you if considering everything I've mentioned before, right? So that potentially gives you these lows, and well, these lows with, with the rainy day of, right? So we potentially might see something akin to this, rather than seeing something akin to, the twos. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. It sounds insane. You're saying, well, Greg, you're just insane. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I'm fine. I'm fine with that, with you thinking this way. I'm totally fine with that. No problem. Righty. So that's SoFi. I think, it's pretty clear. Like, there's not going to be anything that is going to surprise you all in all, right? It's very similar in structure. I think we're just going to run out of data at this point. Yeah, we'll run out of data. So you see, you cannot really see the big picture. You end up seeing your view is limited, and what you're thinking is that, well, this is upside, but it's coupled in with the same assets that have a very negative trend, and you cannot see it because you don't have the data, because the asset is new. You see, so it's fooling you, it's misleading you. It is literally misleading you. It's brilliant, such a brilliant play. But look, if you're applying the Tom method, right? If you don't know how to trade, which I'm saying again, if you don't know technicals proper, if you don't know how to do technical analysis, and I just use RSI and all that, even the stuff I'm showing here is tremendously basic. So even this stuff, if you don't know this, you shouldn't be trying to capitalize all the time. You should be doing the Tom method. Buy on the lows and, try to prevent yourself from buying a lot on the highs. Okay, just pretty basic idea. And we teach the methods on our Discord and explain how to do this. So, yeah, which, by the way, give me a sec. I'm going to post right now in the thing here. Those who somehow, I have no idea, are still not on our Discord. When I say our Discord, I mean me and Tom Nash. Yes, Tom Nash. Those who don't know, I'm friends in both. We have the combined Discord with Tom. We have 19,000 people there. Yeah, down. You are in the Discord. Bad. Good to know. Yeah. No, I hope all of you are. You should all join us. I'm telling you, guys ask sometimes amazing questions that I wish I would be able to have the time and be able to go in depth, which, by the way, reminding me, I'm not going to have too long here. I'm going to have to jump off soon because I have a session coming up with one of my students, one-on-one sessions. Those who are interested, I still have one spot. Reach out to me on Discord. I'll be able to give you information about that. SoundHound, right? Here it is, right? SoundHound, yeah, I'm not mistaken. Sound. Why don't I have them actually marked? I know a lot of people ask about them a lot, so yeah, well, let's do that. Why not? I mean, we can obviously have looked into them, so. Let's see how your SoundHound is doing. Yeah, so boys and girls, join us on Discord and ask all these wonderful questions there, so I'll be actually able to help you out and answer, because some of these questions are phenomenal, right? And I really want to give you answers. but I can't because all sorts of things. Sometimes it's this reason, that reason. Sometimes it's me not having time. Sometimes I don't know enough, and I need to go deeper in depth and actually read and check and do deeper look to be objective about things. Oh yeah, I remember, and I said we'll get to this at some point. Yep. Wait. Who asked about SoundHound? Bad. Are you surprised that it's gonna? Wait, Bad. Did Bad ask about? Yeah, Bad. Are you surprised that it's all that similar? I mean, look at this. You're getting again. Notice the weekly; it's identical. It's that fake pseudo uptrend, right? The monthly is actually indicative of your running out, but this is weird. And remember, it's not. Doesn't matter whether we made it all the way to the top. If the market breaks, this breaks with it. Regard. It's gonna say, guys, wait for me. Let me finish, right? And then I'm gonna match with you. It doesn't work like that. If the market breaks, it breaks, right? You're in an uptrend. Clearly, you're right now testing your median, which we can see have been holding on for a long time, and it's pretty accurate. That's really your actual trend. The bottom of it we can see is roughly around high twos, low threes, kind of, with slippage. So that kind of thing. I mean, that kind of thing, right? But how do we know that? Look, we know that based upon this beginning, and we know that this is foolery because we get the same structure on the indices, and we know if the indices are indicative of a correction, this cannot escape the indices. It's like saying, there will be a flood, but your house will not be affected somehow. Some magically, the water will flow around. So, even though it's far higher, taller than your house. So it's just, it's that same foolery we spoke about on the SPX on the 3 months and larger time frames, right? It cannot escape the tsunami. Tsunami. All right. Boys and girls, I think that was the last ticker, not because anything, I just don't have time. I have a student session coming up, so I'll have to run soon. I'm glad to see all of you who joined. I don't know, SoFi, is it a bit like Revolut? No, Revolut are not trying to be a bank. Revolut are like just a payment method. Revolut are more like a PayPal, if anything, and SoFi is more like trying to be a proper full-fledged bank, if anything, which technically some would argue they are, but they are losing a lot of money. Last time I checked, they didn't have debt though. I'm not sure about recently. Are they in debt right now? They're trying to be a bank basically. They have a very dedicated, good CEO, Anthony Noto, very dedicated, very smart dude. He will survive the tsunami. I think he'll he will lead SoFi to be a good online banking system, especially the more this generation grows up. Potentially, if it does not switch over to actual regular banking, they will stick with more. So SoFi might go through a certain transition, so it will become a lot more bank-like in various forms. It will grow. Course, it will become profitable. If I'm not mistaken, they're not profitable right now. If I'm not mistaken, last time we checked, they are in the hole. They're losing money, I think. You said in Discord. See you later in Discord. Indilio. See you later, boys and girls on Discord. So maybe I'm asking for the wrong perspective. I wonder if it is a good idea to buy it for the long hold. In my opinion, this is just an opinion, not financial advice. It actually is. SoFi is not a bad play at all. It's just that SoFi might take. Look, I cannot promise you that SoFi is in a condition to survive what's coming, if I'm correct, right? If I'm wrong altogether. So there you go. Like, wonderful, right? But if I'm correct, we have a deeper correction that will bring the entire market down. And if SoFi will be able to survive it, then sure, yes, it's a good long-term buy. And I think because it's a generational thing, the older the generation, younger generation it will becomes, the more money they will have, and the more they will stick with things they're familiar and comfortable with, or at least some portion will be retained, and you'll obviously have the inflow of newer clients that are usually from that same younger generation. So all in all, not going to be that surprising if we're going to see SoFi growing over the years. And in my opinion, again, it's really hard to look at the technicals because we don't have enough data to look that far. But if Noto will be able to guide the company in the right direction, I do think Mr. Anthony will be there also still when it really grows to be a large, proper bank. If because I think that's what they want to be in a way. Okay, and a big company, a lot of money, high value. You choose large market cap. Yeah, all of the shebang, right? A lot of the stocks, boys and girls, we do talk about in the community, we really like. They're really good stocks. It's just not all of them are ripe to buy right now. They might be fooling you, misleading you by already having the correct color, but when you bite into them, you realize not yet, right? Kind of thing. Um, does that mean you should miss the opportunity potentially to buy on what would potentially come out to be not low? Depends on your choices. Depends on your view of things. My pleasure, Bed. I hope you enjoyed this, boys and girls. I hope you all enjoyed. I need to jump off. I will make an effort to do another live later today. Market close. I don't know if we're gonna do an hour before the market close, half an hour into the market close. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to improvise. I have some students I have to have sessions with, and we'll see how well I'll be handling my schedule. Right. Hopefully everything will be fine, and we'll have another live later today. Hopefully I'll see you later. All of you have a wonderful day, and yeah, see you later, boys and girls. See you on the next one. Like and subscribe. All that great stuff.